it's Chris from Crafts with Chris. Welcome to my Harvest Hellos online class. Let me explain how my online classes will work. I will upload a YouTube tutorial featuring 3 card designs using 1 stamp set. If there is a coordinating punch or dies with this set, I may include this in my designs. My video tutorials will have limited edits so you can follow along and make your cards in real time. I will send a free kit in the mail if you make any purchase in my Stampin' Up store and use the host code attached to this class. The host code is included here and will be in the video description. I may have several classes running at one time, so it is imperative that you choose the correct host code when placing your order so I know which class you would like. Your kit will include the materials to make 6 cards. You will make 2 designs for each card in the video. You will receive the cardstock, embellishments, ribbons, envelopes, and may include some or all die-cut cardstock. It will not include any stamped images, stamps, dies, ink pads, adhesives, etc. Your kit will also include a full-color PDF file that will list all the supplies used in each card design, the measurements used for each card design, and the video link to the video tutorial. If you make a $50 purchase in my Stampin' Up store and use the host code attached to this class, you will receive a bonus private video which will include 2 more card designs. Your free kit will now make a total of 10 cards. Your PDF file will now have both video links included. You do have the option to purchase these kits separately if you would like. The 6 card kit for this class will be $15 and the 10 card kit will be $20. This includes shipping and tax. I will leave the link in the video if you would like to purchase just a kit. Anyone with a U.S. mailing address can purchase my kits. Stampin' Up demos are welcome to purchase too. Classes typically will close in 2 weeks. I may have special classes that run a bit longer. Just check the video description for the length of this current class. Once my class closes, I will then place an order through Stampin' Up for all my materials needed. My orders typically take a week to arrive, and once I receive it, I will turn around and mail out your kits. It may take up to 3 weeks after the close date of my class for you to receive your kits. When I place my order, if any items used in my video are on back order or non-orderable, then I will choose an item of my discretion. I will pick an item that is very similar to the item in the video. Okay, so now that you know how my online classes work, let's make our cards. So with the card kit today, you will need the Harvest Hellos stamp set, and you're also going to need the Apple Builder Punch that coordinates with this set. So we're going to bring in our kit, and you're just going to go ahead and open it up, and on the inside you're going to have the materials for all your cards plus your PDF file. I've put your cards in order, so I'm going to refer to your cards as cards 1, 2, and 3. So card 1 will be the materials right here on the top. We're going to pull those off and we're going to push everything else aside. I will take my PDF file out of here. This here if you want to follow along with measurements. All of your information will be here in your PDF file. So we're just going to go ahead and make 1 card of each of these cards, but you have enough to make 2. So this is going to be our first card we're going to make. So with that card, you'll find 2 pieces of scrap Whisper White in there. We're going to take one of those pieces out and do our stamping. If you want to make both your cards right now, you can take both your Whisper Whites and get all your stamping done. So we're going to bring in the ink color Memento Tuxedo Black because I will be using stamping blends to color in the apple. So I'm going to take the apple out of here first, and we're going to stamp that down. And I'm just going to stamp it here off to the edge. Then I'm going to bring in the apple slice, and I'm going to stamp that right next to that apple. And then you also will need your apple stem. So I'm going to bring in the stem off to the edge here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to just punch these out real quick. So with your apple slice, you can line it up on your punch it, and then you will have to just trim this down here. And then with your stem, I'm just going to go ahead and bring this in the corner here, line this up, punch that out. Then I'm going to bring in the leaf. I'm going to stamp that off on the edge, and then bring in my punch and just punch that out. And we're done with our Memento ink. So I'm just going to bring in my paper snips, and I'm just going to trim the apple here. We're just going to put those pieces off to the side here. Okay, so we're going to bring back in our Memento. I forgot about this little piece we're going to do here. You're going to bring in the apple seeds, and I'm just going to stamp these all along the bottom of your designer series paper that's included. So just kind of give it a little border. Just like that. So now I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to color these. So for your apple, I'm going to bring in the real red, and I'm going to color the apple light real red, and then I'm going to come back in with the dark and go over those little black lines that are in there. Then I'm going to bring in my dark real red, and I'm just going to go over these little lines here. And then I'm going to bring in my apple slice, and I'm going to just color the skin of the apple slice dark red. So then for your little leaf here, I'm bringing in the dark shaded spruce and light shaded spruce. So I'm going to color the leaf here light shaded spruce. Then I've brought the dark shaded spruce in, and I've just kind of went over the lines with the dark, just to give it a little bit of definition. It doesn't make a huge difference, but you can see the dark color on there. And then the last thing we're going to color is the our stem here of our apple, and then our apple seeds. So this color will be a dark soft suede. I'm going to bring in the color lifter marker, and I'm just going to take this and just go in the center of this apple just to kind of lift off some of that red. And I almost forgot, guys, the little seed here in your apple slice. You want to go ahead and color that in with your soft suede. So in your kit, you're going to find two little stitched shape ovals. I'm just going to set our colored pieces aside here. And with this, we're going to take real red, and you're going to stamp to an A+ teacher on that. So I'm just going to take my real red marker and I'm just going to go along the outside of your the oval shape here. Let's go ahead and bring in the other pieces to our card. You're going to need the Whisper White. You're going to need 2 strips of your ribbon. Now with your ribbon, you're going to see there are 2 longer strips and 2 shorter strips. So you're going to take 1 long strip, 1 short strip for each card. And the first thing I'm going to do is just fold our card base in half. I'm just going to use the bone folder to give it a good crease. So I'm just going to go ahead and put the Whisper White on the inside. So for your outside of your card, before we glue this down, I'm going to go ahead and take this green ribbon and just fold the ends, and it's going to go on the back side of this card. Now you can do this 2 ways. You can put some adhesive down. I would recommend a stronger adhesive than snail. I'm going to bring in some Scotch tape and just tape down the edges of my ribbon here. So your ribbon will look like this. And then we're going to go ahead and take our snail adhesive. We're going to glue this to the front of your cardstock. So then I'm going to take this piece of ribbon and I'm just going to apply it to the front, and I'm just going to tie it into a little knot. And then you can position it right in the center. You can leave the end straight, or you can just kind of cut it at a little angle. And then for our apple, I'm going to just use some snail adhesive, and we're going to glue that right down on the front here. And then I'm going to take the little stem here, put some snail adhesive or some liquid glue, and put that right on the apple, just like that. And then your little stem, that's just going to get glued right down. And then your, well, we'll do this little piece next. You're going to take your apple slice. And then this is just going to be glued right next to your whole apple. So to finish this off, we're going to take your little oval, and I'm just going to apply 2 Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to this. And then this is going to get popped up right on the front. Isn't that super cute? So that is card 1. So this is going to be our card number 2. So we're going to bring in the card supplies for that card. And again, I'm just making the 1 card. So you want to pull out your card base and all your pieces to this. You're going to find your little flower faceted gems. We're going to set them aside. You're going to need 1 for each card. And then your sprigs, these were from the Sprig Punch. You're going to need 2 for each card. Some of your, you're going to have 1 piece of soft suede. You only need to stamp out your pumpkin stem. And then your crumb cake and your Whisper White. So we're going to set the rest of this aside. And the first thing I'm going to do is the stamping. So you're going to bring in your Designer Series piece of paper here, and you're going to bring in your soft suede and your stitched nestled label cardstock. And we're gonna also bring in our crumb cake because we're gonna do some stamping on that. But with this one right here, you're gonna take out your Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And I'm gonna do my pumpkins first, I think. So you're gonna bring in the big pumpkin out of there. You're gonna ink this up, and you're gonna stamp 2 pumpkins on this paper. And then we're gonna bring in our soft suede, and you're gonna stamp 2 stems. So I'm gonna stamp my stems again off in the corner here. And then your Hey There pumpkin, stamp this here on the nested label. So I'm gonna stamp this right in the center. So then I'm gonna bring in my apple punch, and I'm gonna punch out these pumpkins. And then I'm gonna punch out my little stems here. So I'm just gonna set these guys aside. I'm gonna bring in the crumb cake, and what I did for the crumb cake is your card, I'm gonna lay it so that this side is 4 and this side is 5 1/4. And you're gonna bring in your Versamark ink and the leaf stamp in this set, and all I did was I kind of just stamped this leaf randomly all over this paper. I had some going up and some sideways, so just go ahead and stamp this out with your Versamark randomly everywhere. So now what we're going to do is start to assemble this card. So you want to bring in your card base and just fold that right in half. So the first thing we're going to do is glue down your crumb cake. And then I'm going to take the Hey There pumpkin. Now what I did, you don't have to do this, but what I did was I took my Calypso Coral marker, Stampin' Right marker, and I just went along the outside just to give that some definition again. I just like to do this with a lot of my cards. It just adds a lot to it. So you're going to bring in some dimensionals, and we're just going to pop this up on the front here. So I just put this up in the right hand corner. And then with the pumpkins, what I did with the pumpkins is I went ahead and put some adhesive on the top of these pumpkins. Before I glued them down, I put the adhesive on there. And then I brought in my stem, and I put that on. And then I brought in the sprigs, and I kind of just put it off to the side. And then on the back here, you're going to take your Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and you're just going to pop these pumpkins up. Now I did use a bunch of dimensionals on this. I just like to make sure my stuff stays popped up on the front. A lot of times when you send it through mail, they sag. So I'm going to start with the bottom pumpkin. I'm going to put this right in the right hand corner here. And then I'm going to put my stem and sprig on this pumpkin. And then again with some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. And then this pumpkin I kind of just put off just like that. And then before I put the star on, I'm going to flip this over and we're going to put our Whisper White on the inside here. And then you're going to take your flower, not your star, and you're going to go ahead and just place this right on the front, just like that. So there's card number 2. So now you're going to bring in card number 3. This is one of my favorites out of all the designs I did for this class. In here you're going to have 2 pieces of the Noble Peacock Rhinestones. We're going to set those aside. We're not using those right now. You're going to have 2 little bows. These I'll make the bows, so they'll be included in your kit. So you need 1 bow for this card and then 1 piece of the thread and 1 piece of the ribbon. The ribbon will already be cut like this for you. And then you're going to want to take out your mercury glass paper and then 1 piece of designer paper, 1 piece of Whisper White, 1 piece of your Pretty Peacock, and then your Pretty Peacock base. So I'm going to go ahead and set everything aside for right now and just focus on our mercury glass paper. Now this paper here has a protective film on it. I will remove the film for you, but I just wanted to show you guys. It makes it so much easier when you're using this paper to take the film off. When you're die cutting, when you're gluing it down, you'll see the protective film that's on there. So again, I'll take this film off for you, so you will just have the paper. But I wanted to show you guys in case you're making it at home with your own supplies. So we're going to take this piece of paper and we are going to stamp on it with our Versamark. You're going to take out your pumpkin. And when you stamp on this, because it is glossy, your stamp image may slip. So you want to make sure when you stamp down straight and just hold it for a little bit. And then pull your stamp right off so you don't get any shadow effects on it. And what we're going to do is, and if you're making these cards, then you probably want to do both your pumpkins at the same time to save you time. But again, I'm only doing one of the cards at a time. So what we're going to do here is you're going to take a scrapped piece of paper and you're going to want to use silver emboss powder. And you're just going to cover that pumpkin with your emboss powder. And I'm just going to flick it. Now, I did not use the Emboss Buddy. You can if you want to. I don't think you really need it. I haven't had any trouble with the embossing powder sticking. Now that I say that, there is some sticking on the edge here, but for the most part it all came off. So if you have your embossing buddy, you can go ahead and use that. Like I said, I just give it a good flick and I got most of it off. There's a little bit of speckles in there, but it's nothing that's going to show up with all the design on there. So when you heat emboss this, you want to take out your heating tool and you want to get your heating tool nice and hot before you start to emboss. Once your heating tool is heated up and it's nice and hot, what you want to do is you want to just kind of move this around your paper. You don't want to hold it in one spot too long. And you can see it's starting to change. So it should look like that. Some people have had trouble embossing on this. I have not, and I think it's because I move my gun all over the place and I'm not holding it in one spot and getting it nice and warm before you even start. So we're going to set that aside, and we're going to do embossing on this little strip of Pretty Peacock. So I will bring in the embossing buddy for this, and I will go ahead and make sure I rub that on here. And then you're going to take You Make Me Smile, and you're going to use your Versamark. And you're going to stamp this right at the top of this paper and center it. You're going to bring back in your embossing powder. Silver I'm using again. And we're just going to go ahead and emboss this. We're going to cover this with our powder and then emboss that. So you're going to bring in your embossing tool, and you're just going to go ahead and emboss that. So then I'm going to bring in the punch, and you're just going to punch out your pumpkin. And this is a little hard to punch out. So now we're just going to start to assemble this card. So you're going to take your Pretty Peacock card base, and we're just going to fold that right in half. So before we put our designer series paper on our card like this, we're going to take the thread that came in your packet, and you're going to start right in the corner here. And what I'll do is I'll take a piece of Scotch tape, and I'm going to put this ribbon right here. You want to put it right in the very bottom here. Bend it over here, tape it right down. So it's in the corner here. Then you're going to kind of bring it up at an angle. You're going to come down about another angle so that you make a big X there. And again, that's going to go in the corner. And then you're going to come up right through the center. And then just go ahead and tape that right on the back with another piece of Scotch tape. So it'll look something similar to that. And then we're going to go ahead and glue this right on the front of our card. And then this piece here, I'm going to glue this to your card front. So I kind of glued it more to the left side of the card. And then with the pumpkin here, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in this piece of ribbon here and fold it up so it looks like this. And then you're going to turn your pumpkin over, and I'm going to put some snail adhesive up towards the top. And then I'm just going to apply this to the top of my pumpkin. And then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and flip this over. And I'm going to use the mini Stampin' Dimensionals to place it on my pumpkin. So I'm going to go where it's mostly silver, so you can't see the white of the dimensionals popping through. And then I'm just going to put a big dimensional right on that ribbon. And then this pumpkin here is going to pop up right on the bottom here. Isn't that so cute? And then the last step you're going to do is glue on your ribbon in your rhinestone. So with my ribbon, I just took a Stampin' Up glue dot here, a mini glue dot. And I'm going to bring in my piercing tool. And I'm just going to kind of roll this. So to kind of make it smaller, I don't want it as that big dot there. And then I'm just going to apply it to the bow and then put it right in the middle of our thread here. Just like that. And then you're going to take one of your rhinestones and glue it right in the middle of that bow. And then the last thing you're going to do is just take your Whisper White and glue that right on the inside of your card. Just like that. Super cute card. So I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 cards. If you have made a qualifying purchase, then let's go ahead and start our bonus designs card number 4. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I also would love to hear from you guys in the comments. And don't forget to share this video with your family and friends so they can make this too. Please subscribe below and don't forget to ring that bell. I also offer a newsletter that I would love for you to sign up for. You will get 30 free card ideas just for signing up. Thanks for watching.